Maryland Governor Wes Moore is criticizing the president. Today, he doubled down on his decision not to call up the National Guard to patrol Baltimore. Governor Moore tells the president not to criticize the city or the state if he isn't willing to meet with local leaders.
And so I do want to be very clear. If you are not willing to be part of the solution, keep our names out of your mouth.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. Those comments are triggering a strong response from state leaders and on social media.
Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost questioned the governor's office about requesting federal assistance and looks into the controversial reaction to the governor's words.
When President Donald Trump said Baltimore was too far gone, it sparked a firestorm. Now Governor Wes Moore is taking his rhetoric a step further, but some wonder if it could backfire. Since President Donald Trump first put his plan in motion, deploying the National Guard to the streets of the nation's capital, leaders in Maryland have been on defense because D.C. wasn't the only city the president talked about.
And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone.
Now, Governor Wes Moore made it clear.
And I want to say that loud and clear for anybody, especially in Washington, D.C.
He does not want to hear the president talk about Baltimore unless he's willing to help.
And so I do want to be very clear. If you are not willing to be part of the solution, keep our names out of your mouth. Specifically, Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth.
Almost immediately after posting a clip of the governor's comments on social media, reactions started pouring in, and a staffer from the Maryland Freedom Caucus writing, quote, "Ghetto Governor Moore, standing in front of a racetrack so unprofitable, it had to be bailed out by $400 million of state funds to rebuild." The comments quickly called racist by the Maryland Democratic Party Chair Stuart Pittman, writing, "Republicans in the Maryland Freedom Caucus must disavow this and hold their leadership accountable." But the Freedom Caucus not backing down, in a statement saying in part, the Democrats in Maryland would rather focus on anything but the $400 million of state taxpayer dollars being spent on the Pimlico racetrack.
I thought her comments were a knucklehead thing to say.
Political analyst John Deedy says the Freedom Caucus's comments may have been designed to attract attention. He says as we enter campaign season,
it's going to get a lot more aggressive. And the governor's comments today were really poking the bear.
Pointing to the comments from Moore earlier this year, like,
"I'm not the leader of the resistance. I'm the governor of Maryland."
Deedy says Moore is now different.
A few months ago, he was talking about not joining that fight. He has crossed the Rubicon River. He has gone into that place. And I think that he needs to do that, but I think he needs to be careful because you don't want a situation where the guard comes here when it may not be advantageous for you politically.
While at the Pimlico event Thursday, we plan to ask Governor Moore about the decrease in violent crime in D.C. since the influx of federal law enforcement. But he didn't take any questions. So we followed up with his office, asking, would Governor Moore be open to utilizing federal law enforcement at the direction of President Trump to bolster effort to curb crime in Baltimore? And is there any scenario in which Governor Moore would be willing to deploy the Guard in Baltimore or Maryland to curb violent crime? In a lengthy statement, Communications Director David Turner touted the decline in homicides in Baltimore, pointing to partnerships with local leaders as a reason, adding, oversaturating neighborhoods and public places with the National Guard may temporarily deter crime, but it doesn't use a realistic strategy to get to the root of the issues that local officials and communities know best. The White House firing back too. In a statement, a spokesperson continued to praise the crime reductions in D.C. recently, adding, perhaps Governor Moore should take a page out of the president's playbook to stop the rampant crime in Baltimore, the fourth most dangerous place in the U.S.
Do you believe that there's any situation in which we will see the National Guard or any sort of federal law enforcement surge into the city of Baltimore if this conversation continues, despite the significant pushback from the mayor and the governor?
If some incident was to occur, that would light the president's candle to go do this.
For now, the political tensions continue to climb as leaders hope crime continues to drop.
While the governor did have his harsh words for the president Thursday, he also sent a letter to the White House inviting the president to participate in a crime walk in Baltimore next month at a date of the president's choosing. So far, no word on that invitation from the White House. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.